Welcome back, everybody. So the league phase is over in the Women's Champions League. We've seen 6 match days and now the fate has been drawn. The road to Oslo is officially on. So we got Manchester United taking on Atlético Madrid, Paris FC versus Real Madrid, Leuven taking on reigning champions Arsenal, and Wolfsburg taking on 8th seed Juventus. We can then see 1, 2, 3, 4 seeded who they'll be playing in the next round. Girls, what are our initial thoughts from the draw? A lot to unpack here, but I think some of the best things we've seen is Wolfsburg taking on Juventus. I think that's going to be my marquee matchup of the next knockout round phase.
I agree, especially since we have seen the other 3 matchups before, so it gives us a little bit of what to expect. The teams that won those matchups, Manchester United and Arsenal, will probably be feeling a little bit confident going into it. Obviously now it's 2 legs, so that adds a little something. But Paris FC, Real Madrid, they did tie. And then Juventus, Wolfsburg, that's a thriller for me.
I still think it is interesting, though, especially the Atlético Madrid, Manchester United. Even though they've already played each other, United came on top. I still think if you've played against a team and lost, sometimes the first thing you want to do is play them again and go and beat them. So now it's in a knockout. I think that's a really exciting game. Obviously, Atlético had a red card, so they'll be missing a player through suspension. We'll see how that one plays out.
It's a big player to be missing.
Yeah, and whether it's just, how long is the ban? That's the question. Based on what happened, that'll be interesting. But
maybe they'll have her for 1 leg, but yeah.
But I'm agreeing with you, Hannah. I think Wolfsburg, Juventus, they've both been so enjoyable to watch and been really, can I say it, inconsistent, but impressive in different ways. So I think I can't wait for that one.
And that's the only one we haven't seen yet in this league phase. Yeah. Talking about the league phase, the whole new format, this is the first year the women have mirrored the men's competition. Have you liked it, Darian, so far?
I've loved it. I have absolutely loved it. I've lived it. for those reasons. I think, these are the teams that want to play in a Champions League, and this is a tournament that, as a player, you die to play in something like this, and you can both speak from this experience. But looking at this, you have the debutantes Man United coming into this, and OH Leuven, who made it past the likes of PSG, Twente, Benfica, teams who have featured in Champions League for so long. So I think the new format is so great. It's inclusive, it expands talent, expands the competition, and I think it's just all around great.
I think for even working on, match day 6 last night and knowing the amount of changes that could still happen on the last day, I think it was Nadine Kessler there that made a really valid point. Bayern jumped from 17th to 4th. Yeah. Just incredible, the amount of change that could happen. And I think for me, that goes to show the competitiveness that this format can give for the viewers. It's been amazing. So yeah, very excited for knockouts now, though.
Yeah, like we said as well, we saw Juventus were 4th going into match day 6, and they ended 8th, 9th.
Yeah, I think so.
Also seeing the likes of PSG get eliminated before the league phase was even over. I think that's not the excitement, but the things we're seeing now with this league phase.
It's showing parity across Europe. I love that a team like OH Leuven has been able to show we will step up if a team that traditionally you've seen do well can't hold the level. We're there. We're ready to go into the knockout phase and try to get into the quarterfinals.
I want to know how OH Leuven might be feeling having to play Arsenal again, having just lost them. It's not what you want to hear, right?
So in the first match, they lost 3-0 as well. But you never know. They could be going into that game wanting to beat Arsenal. Let's chat about the prize money, though, quickly, because we can see here in this graphic that's about to come up. If you make it to the knockout round playoffs, each team will receive around 117,000. Quarterfinals, they make 234,000. Semi-finals, 293. And then in the final, if you get runner-up place, you win 352,000. But winners win 587,000.
Not a lot of money, is it?
No. What do we think there?
It has to increase, I think, first and foremost. I think now there's competitions that are, reaching bigger numbers. And I think, look, qualifying for Champions League, in my experience anyway, was always a big financial gain, right? No matter what level you were playing at. If you qualify for Champions League, the narrative was always, okay, this will be good because UEFA helps in different ways and that money can be put towards. But now I think it has to equate to the growth of the game and the sort of market value that these players and the product is in my opinion, is beyond that prize money.
Yeah, the 3 of us all worked World Sevens a couple weeks ago, and to have a $5 million prize pot with $2 million going to the winning club, that blows these numbers out of the water.
Yeah, for a 7v7 tournament.
Yeah,
and we're talking about the Champions League, the tournament of all tournaments. It's clearly not enough. And I even think of these kind of teams that are not coming into this with not the utmost experience or don't have the same financial status as other clubs like a PSG or like a Lyon that have that financial backing, this isn't going to do a ton for the club, even at that level, even though they qualified for a Champions League, made it to a knockout phase. It's just not good enough.
Looking now, though, at some of the matchups, let's start off with Arsenal, reigning champions, Jen. They're going to have to beat Leuven, which they've already done in that league phase. And then if they were to beat Leuven, they'll take on Chelsea. Do you like this draw so far for Arsenal?
I do. It's another sort of domestic battle. But I think, look, they will be confident seeing this draw, knowing you just played that team. So it'll be fresh in their minds. They'll know exactly how to approach the game next time. I think they will have one eye, I hate to say it, on the next round, with the potential of when you know exactly who you're going to get, it will be Chelsea. So, but they will take one game at a time, all the classic cliches. Of course. But for sure, I think there'll be no disrespect to OH Leuven. They'll be content with the knowing that they have the quality, having just done it last night, right? They'll have that fresh in their mind.
Do you think of the 4 teams Arsenal could meet in the quarterfinal, that Chelsea would be the one that they would want?
Oh, that's a good question. I think based on it's been tight in their WSL games so far. It's not been an outright runner. And okay, Arsenal have dipped in form in that sense, but I think when you know a team inside out, sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. But I think knowing Arsenal-Chelsea, that matchup has been iconic, right, in recent years, and is still huge in the WSL. So I think they'll still be confident going into it, knowing exactly what to expect. They know these players. I know I would want to feel like that. I'd rather play a team I was used to playing week in, week out at home in England.
Think about the attendances.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. For that quarterfinal.
Yeah, I think out of all those teams, Bayern, Chelsea, Barcelona, they're all going to be hard, aren't they? But having that familiarity with Chelsea could go in their favour. With this Arsenal side, we've seen them struggle at the start of the season, and within the last 4 or 5 matches, they've gotten back on track. What do you put that down to, Darian?
It's a little rinse and repeat of last year, isn't it?
Arsenal, they're hoping.
Yeah, Arsenal have been probably one of the most inconsistent heavyweights to me. I mean, they're the title holders. They haven't had the most complete performances, in my opinion. I think we are still seeing that lack of chemistry that we saw from last year with Renee Sluggers just coming in.
The chances are being created, but for me, they haven't found the consistency, whether it's Russo in the 10 or Russo in the 9 or Blackstenius playing up top, and based on who they're playing. But I do think Olivia Smith has been a huge signing for them.
Lights
and
out.
Been a star for them, whether she's had a niggle. I think that's also been a massive issue. Kim Little, Leah Williamson, 2 massive leaders for Arsenal have been out injured. So between missed chances and leadership missing, 2 big issues for Arsenal.
Yeah, but hopefully that leadership's coming back now. It's come back at a perfect time as well. On to another WSL side, Manchester United. They've been drawn against Atlético Madrid, who they were able to beat in the league phase that we've just seen. Manchester United, they got off to a great start. Then they had those 2 losses, but were able to win yesterday. What do we make of this Manchester United side? It's their first time in the competition. How do you see them faring up against Atlético Madrid, Ali?
I'll admit that I didn't have high expectations for them coming into the tournament, just being debutantes, and we didn't know they were stretching the team so thin across both competitions. I actually think that a big transfer window for them could really boost them. We will see potentially, actually I'm pretty confident, we will see a different team come this phase of the tournament, but they have impressed, and we highlighted Mark Skinner yesterday. I think he's done a great job. He's had to rotate. His hand has been forced, and he has made it work, even if that dream start of those 3 wins to start the league phase, it didn't really pan out. But I think they've done a really good job. They've put themselves in a good position, and they get to play a team that they beat in the league phase.
I'm actually not surprised that Man United has done so well. Just watching them in WSL, especially from last season to this season, the changes that Mark Skinner's made, they're a very defensive prowess team. They're in lockstep together, and I think that's been a really big challenge. You have the advantage of being the debutantes, where teams are not used to playing you. Teams are not used to the physicality you can bring, or maybe the qualities that you can counter with, and they have some stacked players. And I do think you're right. I think they're going to add a little bit more depth, which is what makes these Champions League heavy hitters so good and be able to be so consistent. So I'm excited to see Man United go forward. I think that's going to be a really good game against Atleti. Your dark horse, right?
Atlético Madrid.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So hopefully, Atleti come out of it good. Wolfsburg, 9th seed, taking on Juventus, 8th seed. What have we made of Wolfsburg this league phase so far, Jen?
I would say inconsistent, and that's why they're in that position of finishing 9th. I think, obviously, against Manchester United, it was a really high-scoring game, but I think we all kind of agreed it came from a lot of mistakes. I think could be a leadership issue in this team. I'm looking at the captaincy changing multiple times. Alexandra Popp, I mean, look at the passion she showed scoring that goal, but having retired from Germany and still playing club football, when I see the captain's armband chop and change, and I know that's still something that's common to see, but I think for me, they're in a generation of, they aren't necessarily the powerhouses we're used to have seen. Okay, they've won this competition twice, but for me, you don't win this being inconsistent. Of course, anything can still happen in this bracket going forward, but they're not relentless. Even watching them up against Chelsea, a goal down.
Yeah, Real Madrid, who were 2 players down and lost 2-0.
Yeah, for me, they could have, up against a team like Chelsea, when you're trying to chase, that game could have gone on for another hour, and I don't think they would have scored.
Ooh.
And that's just my opinion, but I think they have been a little bit inconsistent. Yeah, 3 losses in a league phase. For me, that's not a title-winning team. They're sitting second in their domestic league as well. I think they are going through a transition, and I would be a little bit intrigued to see what the conversations are like internally going into this knockout.
Don't you feel like some of the transfers we've seen, especially going out of Wolfsburg, have been not questionable, but who are they going to bring in? And now here's an opportunity. I think I already spoke about Man United. I think Wolfsburg is another team that we need to see some top players come to this team in this window.
I completely agree. If you let go of players like Lena Oberdorf, it doesn't matter if it was last season or multiple seasons before it, you have to reinvest. And maybe we'll see it in this transfer window, not sure, but they definitely are going through a transition and need to invest more in the summer at least.
Do you think Wolfsburg, Darren, will make it to the quarterfinals? I mean, if there's a time where you can't make silly mistakes, it's in these knockout rounds, especially against Juventus, who've been on great form at the moment.
Juventus are in great form, but also mildly inconsistent. They have their weaknesses. They had that standout match against Lyon where they played an amazing, very tactical 45 minutes and then let it go in the second half. And I think when you're going against a team like Wolfsburg, who have the experience going far in the tournament, have the legacy in this tournament, I actually have Wolfsburg going through against Juventus. I do. Sorry to your dark horse, Jen and Kelly. I apologize. I've loved watching them play, but to me, Wolfsburg, this is how you turn this around. This is how you make good on that legacy that the players before you, that Alexander Popp has led the team to. So I'm hoping they can turn it around. Do I think they'll get past Lyon? No. But I do think they can do it past Juve.
Yeah, and you look at their history. They've won this tournament 2 times, and they haven't made a semi-final since 2022. Things seem to recently have changed for Wolfsburg. On another game, though, looking at this one, Real Madrid, they're going to be playing Paris FC. And then if they were able to go on to win that one, they would go to play Barcelona. Pretty tough draw. Well, Paris, I think they've got good chances against Paris, but coming up against Barcelona is a tough ask for anybody.
Yeah, another potential domestic quarterfinal. I think, again, I'm the ultimate hype woman. I'm excited for the attendances. I'm excited for the fans to see those 2 teams play 2 more times than they would in the domestic league and the cup and all the times you see that amazing historic matchup. But it is, you're looking at that next matchup as Real Madrid and not really excited about playing Barcelona. But again, I do think it's been more recent investment. I think to get to a quarterfinal is still a very good achievement for Real Madrid, even if we have loved seeing them play. They have great players like Alinda Caicedo, like Caroline Weir. I still think that them getting to a quarterfinal, brilliant.
What about Paris FC, Darren? They've come 10th. I know I just said that Real Madrid are looking likely to go through, but you never know. But why aren't we kind of giving Paris their flowers?
Oh, Paris have been so inconsistent from the jump in this competition. And this is also a team, you've played against Paris FC, you've played against Paris FC as well in the French league. They're very difficult, especially when they're playing at home. Clara Mateo is a big leader for them, but they've shown that when you shut down Clara Mateo, who else is stepping up for them? And we haven't seen anybody else, maybe Mael Garbino at some points in time, but not consistently throughout a game. And that's why with this matchup, I think Real Madrid just has more dynamic players that can hurt you. And they're not just relying on Alinda Caicedo or Caroline Weir. They have a bunch of other people, and their style of play is very defined. Paris FC have been struggling. and I don't see them getting past Real Madrid.
Yeah, they've only won one game this whole league phase. You like Real Madrid for this one, Jem?
I do. It's hard to have one eye on Barcelona, for sure. It's so tempting.
One game at a time.
I know. Yeah, look, I think Real Madrid just will edge it in terms of quality. I think we've all absolutely loved watching Caicedo. I think she's been absolutely brilliant up there with Clara Bulls in terms of assists and chances created. I think when she's on form, and then you have an attacking midfielder, by the way, not even a forward, who's still scoring multiple goals in Caroline Weir. I think you talk about standout players that can really change a game and show up in these moments, and I think Real Madrid have more of that, so I'm favouring them for sure in the Scottish Galactica, Caroline Weir.
Scottish Galactica, there we go. We speak about how exciting this whole new league phase is and going into this knockout rounds. Girls, in the production meeting, we were saying there may be some room for upsets here. I can definitely see one between Wolfsburg and Juventus. That's my pick. Do any of you have any similar ones or other games that we see potentially there could be a big upset?
I can see Man United going through over Atlético. I don't know if we would call that an upset because I think these teams are a little bit more fair on the quality that we've seen from them so far.
The biggest upset, if we're talking, would be OH Leuven going through against Arsenal.
You're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying.
What are you saying? What are you saying, Jen?
You don't think there's any chance for Leuven?
Yeah. I'm favouring Arsenal for sure. It looked comfortable for me last night, but would that be an upset? Absolutely.
I know. We're all hoping. Well, I know you probably aren't, Jen, but we're all hoping for that.
I just want them to get one.
Well, I just want to continue to be able to say we're loving Leuven.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie A, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount Plus.